We got a contest reminder. We got a little VCLT. We got a couple new shirts. We've even got what we listened to this weekend. Let's hit to it now. Okay, so yes, this is Jeff here, obviously, and just want to give a quick reminder to the contest that I have running, the 600 subscriber contest, the 6 albums in 6 minutes. I wanted to basically remind everybody that the contest entry, video entry date ends on Friday, and then hopefully I'm thinking by Saturday I should have them all pulled together and can do the actual drawing. So if you haven't got a contest entry in, please do jump on that now. I'm going to go ahead and run down real quick the list of people that I am aware of. So if you don't hear your name, let me know that you did a video. I've been watching closely my subscriptions to see if anybody's videos popped up with my title, because some people have notified me, some haven't, and I've caught on to them. I've been watching the hashtag, so I have been trying to pay attention to see if I have missed anybody. If you're obviously not subscribed to me and not in my subscription feed, then I probably would not have seen it if you had made one. So let me just run down the list. I have currently 28 entries. So I'm going to run down the list of names. If you're not hearing your name, let me know as soon as possible so I can get you into the playlist. Or if you just want to come to my channel and look at the playlist, it's there too. So we got the flip side, JC, Ron Haggerty, Dr. October, Aramuta Alamere, Polly Pedalis, Chris Rankin, David Stenson, Physical Format Rock and Roll, The Vinyl Archivist, Low Noise Jason Skills, Brain Twing, Pops and Clicks, Stevie's Vinyl, Chris Prophy's Musically Obsessed, Rachel the Music Man, Robert's on My Turntable, Rando's Wreck Edge, Glenn Kellaway from the Basement, Ryan Kidd, Michael Pilmer, Alexander Aguilar, I may pronounce his name. He's a new guy, new one to me and new to the VC. And Lisa Tedesco, Guz69, Clarkovision, Christian Orsario, Value Vinyl, Todd Guy the Thrashing Zombie, and Beth over at Red Rum Records. So that's where I have now in my list. That's who I have. If you don't hear your name, please let me know. Comment on this video, comment anywhere. I should see the comment and let me know that you did one, and I'll track it down and add it to the list. So now, speaking of contest entries, during the entry that Michael Pilmer did for my contest, I had mentioned this when I entered his contest before. Michael Pilmer, I've known his name prior to knowing that he was on the YouTube channel, but he runs the website for Thor the Rock Warrior, the Thor Central website that I've been through, contacted, ordered things through, I guess looking back now into the early 2000s. So I didn't know how long that had been, but I did a little looking back. And the reason I noticed that it was at least the mid 2000s to early 2000s, is because I mentioned in my video how I had sent a picture to the website, which is on the fan art section, and I looked back and that was made in 2006, which makes sense because around 2005, 2006, I started taking some classes to learn new skills, and I was beefing up. Actually, I was really kind of learning Photoshop in more detail. I was reading books. I have a bunch of books on it, on doing, complex type artwork, and also had been taking classes. So at that time, I matched up a couple pictures just as kind of a project to use Photoshop, some techniques that they use, and came up with an image, and I went ahead and sent it to him, and they put it on the site. So I'm going to show you the image real quick. So it's basically, I took the logo, which I'm showing here, and I took a picture of the Weeping Wall in Israel. The reason I chose that was because it's an old structure, and it was kind of a flat surface, but it was not flat to where I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And it had to be not flat, but it had to be kind of flat. So anyway, took that, and then I merged them together and used it so that it looks like the image had been on the wall for a long time, and it comes out looking like this. So yes, I thought it was a pretty neat looking when it was all said and done. It looks like the wall, the people are kind of there honoring Thor, the god of thunder, with this big emblem on the wall. So I thought it was kind of neat. But I submitted that. So then I realized, wow, I've been buying stuff from him since early 2000s, because that's probably, a couple years after I was doing stuff. Anyway, during his video, where he entered my contest. He wore a Thor shirt in my honor. And I'm like, man, that is an awesome Thor shirt. I wish you, I said, you need, it's not available on the website. It's an older model, an older shirt. I said, you need to print some more of those and give me one. And he said, well, tell you what, I'll look around and see if I have any. So he said, let me look around and see what I've got that may not be listed on the site. Well, he didn't have any of those. But he did have a couple other ones that were not on the site, one of which is this one. So this is the same logo, but it's not the one that he had on with the colorized logo, like the sticker that I showed, which I have that sticker. It's one of my favorite emblems, and I have been looking for it. It's somewhere, and I haven't laid my hands on it. But anyway, this is still impressive enough. So he had this one, but he also had this design. You see that? Thor the Metal Avenger. Which I believe he did say that he designed this, or he and a friend, or he and worked with Thor, whatever, and designed this. So he had these two, and I thought, yeah, let me go ahead and get them. They're older designs that are no longer on the site, so I grabbed them. The shirt that I do have that you see me wear with Thor, which is a picture of him, I'm almost sure I got it from Michael's site at some point too. So anyway, yes, so the t-shirts came in. Neat little package. Hey, Jeff. Anyway. Great stuff. Now, VCLT. I got a small package. Oh, the drama with the mail system. Got a small package in the mail here from Scott Waters. It says here, you can see right here, it says forward. I don't know if that... So, apparently, my address, I live on the south side of a road. My address has south in it. There's an exact same address as mine, same house number, 612, on the north side of the road. And over the years, we've had mail go there. They've had mail come here. It's been frustrating. An older couple over there, you know, they just occasionally have to bring us mail. Now, it hasn't happened much in the past couple years. It's been a handful of years since it was happening a lot. It all depends on the carrier. Well, all of a sudden, I'm seeing mail starting to get... Scott sent me a letter and this package. The package, when he went to send the package, the Post Office Service said it's not a valid address. I've lived here for 18 years. And then he sends me an envelope, a regular first-class envelope, and then it gets returned to him. Well, the package was about to show up, and I saw the tracking. It says it's going to be here on Saturday. And then all of a sudden, 2 hours later, it says package forwarded. So I call them, and it turns out that the north side people, the older couple that used to get my mail, they're gone now. No, I don't know. They were older. Makes me wonder. Have they passed? I don't know. They're gone, and the carrier, for some reason, was thinking my mail was their mail, and there's no forwarding address, and so they were just sending stuff back. And as soon as I told Scott, hey, your package is here, but it's getting sent somewhere, he said, yeah, I got your envelope back again for the second time. So frustrating. Called the post office, talked to the carrier. The carrier came by the house and apologized and said he confused north with south. Then hopefully he's keeping an eye on that. It makes me wonder how much of my other mail may have been changed. He brings me packages and mail every day, practically. So why a certain package every once in a while would get turned, you know, was almost getting turned back? Haven't seen any other packages go back, but poor Scott's got this envelope he's trying to get me. He's mailed it twice and it's gotten forwarded back. Anyway, in the package, just real quick stuff. Eddie B, God shut down the planet. Now, this is my first endeavor into Eddie B. This is he is a pastor, has a prison ministry. It is a Christian record. Scott said, I'm going to send you the new Eddie B album. Now, the last Eddie B album that I saw him mention was Not a Perfect Christian. I thought that's the newest Eddie B album. So when I got this, I'm like, what? This is different. It's straightforward. It's kind of like singer-songwriter at times. It's kind of rock at times. It's kind of just mid-level. A man and his guitar with an occasional, backing band. So it's not hard rocking. He has a prison ministry. He sings a lot of songs about going through life tough. He came from a tough background, drugs and prison and all of that, and so he's got that in his ministry. Now, I've only given it a brief listen to, and I enjoyed it. My hope is I don't really end up loving it, and here's why. I went to his website, and this guy has to have over 20 albums out. And I'm one of those people that all of a sudden you like something, then you got to go back and get their whole catalog. I'm not one of those that could be just that can be content with, yeah, I'm going to start here and go forward. No. So if I end up loving this guy, I'm going to have to be, you know, I'm going to be messed up and have to go back and buy all those other albums. I was surprised. And that's why Not a Perfect Christian had to be not even a year ago, and all of a sudden this. He is very prolific. He has a lot of music out. I don't know how many years he's been doing it, but on his website, it's just so many CDs. And I'm like, oh, if I end up liking this, I'm going to have to buy them all. But anyway, and also, and I had mentioned this in a previous, there's a card in here that he was sending me the ultimatum foil card that should have been in the CD that I bought for Into the Pit. So that's good. Got the card. And then he also threw in a Chris Manning guitar pick, Ernie Ball guitar pick. Chris Manning is another artist that Scott released on his label. I don't have that to show, but it is one that he released, and so that's a Chris Manning guitar pick. Now, weird weekend in the sense that musical styles I started listening to. My last video I made was the VCLT thing, and so I'm going back through all of my videos and looking at memories of VCLT and stuff, and then I started thinking, you know, let's listen to some stuff that's a little off. And started going through and listening to a lot of stuff that was a little out of character as far as listening to a lot of in a row. First off, though, I'm going to show this. Loverboy, Get Lucky. This was not VCLT in the sense that it was in that thing, but it was on the top of my list. A friend of mine from church, one of my former bandmate, was out at a estate sale, and he texted me and said, hey, do you need this album? And then he said that it's the only album in this whole collection that looks like something that you would like. And so I said, sure, you know, if it's not too expensive, I'll take it, because you can get Loverboy for, you know, $2 pretty much anywhere. And I guess it was less than that. And he said it's in good shape, so he brought it to me and dropped it off at church yesterday. Now, Loverboy was a band, everybody in 1981, you know, my band has played Working for the Weekend in every band I've ever been in. And they have hits, and I have their greatest hits CD. But, you know, when you have that and you don't have their other albums, you kind of forget some of the magic that's in the other tracks. So I gave this a spin yesterday and realized just how great these guys were, you know, at what they did. Yeah, you know, it's not metal, but it's very well done hard rock. And, yeah, I was just, some of the songs I'm like, wow, I haven't heard that in a long time, because I had the album back in the day. Anyway, fell in love with it again. I'm just like, wow, this is a really good album. These guys really, I mean, they did really well for a short amount of time, but it just seems like they could have had more hits than that, because this whole album, just, there's only a couple songs that are a little odd. Everything else is great. So I was just glad to get this. I keep picking these up because, again, this and their other albums show up in the $2, $3 bins all the time. I just, you know, pass on them. So got that. Oh, this is neat. I've never seen this before too. It's a gold stamp promo, but it says for sale to military exchanges outside the U.S. So anyway, I guess it was somehow got back to, the guy must have been in the military, whoever passed away and got rid of this. All right, so then the listening habits. This is what I've been spending for the weekend. Started off with something really odd, because this is one of the VCLT things that I got from Steve over at Value Vinyl in that big box. And I remember listening to a little bit of it when I first got it, but I pulled it out, put it on, listened to it from start to finish, and was blown away at how many songs I know on here. Now, I don't know if these are cover tunes, because obviously those type of songs back in the day, everybody did a rendition. They didn't all sound like the original that I've heard, but almost most of the songs on here, I'm like, I know that song. Anyway, it was a very enjoyable situation. I really dug this album. Yeah, it's mellow and mild, but it was one of those weekends, you know, and I really, this was a really good album. Now, I have another one of their albums that I showed that I got at a thrift store that is like the best of, and I listened to that and only recognized like one song. This one, it's chocked full of hits. And again, I don't know if they're all original Letterman. I don't know enough about the band to know if these were original the Letterman hits or just covers. I don't think they were original. I think they were covers. But great album. That was really good. So then I pulled out, this is one that I got at a thrift store, Little River Band. And I did listen to this when I first got it. These are the albums I got that had some water damage. They kind of smelled. I was able to go in and clean them up. I used some essential oils to kill the mold. And it cleaned up like very good plus. And I listened to this and thought, these, you know the hits. Everybody knows the hits. You hear the radio hits, but you don't realize the deeper cuts, just how good bands are. And I was blown away by just the amount of talent that this band. I know a lot of people love Little River Band, and obviously, as a metalhead, I don't give them as much time of day. But I thoroughly enjoyed this. And if I see them in the wild, I'm going to grab some more of their stuff, because the lighter side of the rock world, these guys are great. So I ended up saying, okay, well, I'm going to listen to the other one I bought at the same time. Have you heard about the Lonesome Loser? So it's got some hits on here, and then the rest of the stuff is just it's diverse. It's AOR. It's light rock. It's all over the place. Good stuff. A little bit of funky jazz here and there. They're very talented, harmonic, vocals. Anyway, I have a friend who used to go to church with years ago, and this was like one of his favorite bands. And now I kind of see why. I listened to the deeper tracks. They have a very good catalog of stuff out. And this is another one I bought at another thrift store myself. Again, I'm just pulling random stuff out. I listened to this in its entirety when I first got it, and realized just how diverse the Doobie Brothers are. Again, you hear the hits, but then you realize they've got some jazz influence in here. They've got all kinds of instrumental breakdowns and stuff, and they're very, very talented that you don't hear just from the typical hits that you hear. So yeah, great album to revisit that. This was one that I got as a stiffener for another record. So this is what somebody would consider one of those throwaway albums, sorry Steve, that people, you just use as a stiffener. I listened to this and realized I know a couple of these songs, and so I listened to this whole thing the other day, and I'm like, this is a good album. Just singer-songwriter, mellow. This is the 70s kind of music I grew up listening to on the radio, and love this stuff. The AM hits, I love the AM hits, and this falls right in there. So I was impressed. The album, even though it was thrown in as a stiffener, is in pristine condition, and it sounds great, and I loved listening to this. It was a chilled out weekend of mellow music. So then another one I got from Steve, the Grassroots, again full of hits that I didn't realize were the band, the Grassroots. And the album, while at first it looked rough, I cleaned it up, and again, it's probably real close to VG. It has some minor pops and cracks, but I was impressed at how clean it got. As rough as it looked and as dirty as it was, it cleaned up really well, and it plays really well for the age of the album. And I was like, man, these guys are chock full of hits. Great stuff. Another one just like it that cleaned up even better, I think. The Association. I know the songs Cherish and things like that, but I realized that they're just full of great music too. And again, hey, we're going with the mellower side, and I really dug this. So yeah, this is what, when Steve sent that big box of possible hot mess, there's a lot of gems in here that I probably would have never given the time of day or purchased on my own, that I now have and enjoyed listening to it front to back. This is another one I purchased around the same time I got those Little River Band. And Jackson Browne, he's singer-songwriter and just kind of mellow all the way through. There was some good storytelling on here. I would say of all the things I listened to, this one probably didn't impress me as much, just because it seemed kind of, it was good, but it was kind of like the same all the way through. I didn't find a lot of diversity here, so I listened to it and it was good, but again, I just don't think it impressed me as much as some of these other bands that I don't frequent as much. And then again, another one I got the same time with the Water Damage, Pat Travers. It's my only Pat Travers band. I know a lot of people talk about Pat Travers. Ron has always talked good about Pat Travers. I've always considered him, one or two of the hits he's done, considered him kind of in that blues rock field, but I never quite knew a lot about Pat Travers. And honestly, I bought it because I knew who he was. I owned nothing by Pat Travers. And of course, at the time when I got it, I mentioned I had to get it because it had Tommy Aldridge. I'm a big Tommy Aldridge fan. Not that I buy everything he has, but, if I ran into something out there with his name on it, I'm probably going to buy it, which is why I did this. And so I played this, and it's, there are some songs on here I know. And I've heard other bands do covers of. And so I knew some of the songs, and it was good. It was just a good, rock, at times hard rock and blues rock and stuff. So yeah, I'll be on the lookout, for additional Pat Travers stuff. But it was just great. And like I say, this was a quick pickup and was able to clean it up, and it ends up sounding real well. So anyway, that's all for now. It was an interesting weekend of going back and playing a bunch of stuff that I probably would have never picked up on my own, a lot of which was given to me that I'm just finding out that I'm impressed with. So am I losing my metal edge and now I'm playing all this mellow stuff? At times you want to, just lay back and enjoy a different style of music. And so that's what I did for this weekend. It was just a cool weekend. So anyway, that's all for now. Great stuff. Remember, join the contest if you haven't. I will see you later. Rock on, rock hard, or soft. Later.